All right, it looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Sunday service with the Morrisons. This is my husband, David Morrison, and I'm Tammy Morrison, and we are live for Sunday service. So, today's Sunday service, we want to really talk about how there are times when you need to remind people who you are. And we're going to reference the holy text and how Paul did that, how he showed the people and told the people who he used to be and who he was, and not to be looking at him as the person that he was in the past, but to make sure that they were paying attention and following who he is now. And so we all have times in life where we have to remind people who we are. Sometimes they want to discount us for being a certain kind of way, or maybe they remember us, looking a different way. Maybe they remember us reacting to things in a different way. Maybe they remember us, not stepping into the full power of who we are. And so, what happens is, people from your past will come up and they'll, start pointing fingers at you and saying, I remember when, I remember when, I remember when. And so it's up to us to remind people who we are. It's up to us to show people that regardless of what they think we were, this is who we are. And this is what we're all about. So, honey, what you got to say about that?
To follow up on what Tammy just said, um, give you some personal experiences here. Even your family sometimes become too familiar with you to
Yes.
where they're looking at you from the child point of view or you from decades ago. And I find out going through life since I've retired from the military that many people, and this is not arrogance, but you climb to a certain level, like me as a high risk training instructor, training up to 20 something thousand people without incidents and what have you. Um, it takes a lot to go through that when you train 200 and some people you're in charge of at a time. But then you come out in civilian life, and when you become a civilian, many people, and not in an arrogant way, they think they're your equal, but they don't have the training, they don't have the experience, they don't have the leadership quality. They haven't traveled to over 20 different countries around the world. They haven't been, a,
Exposed.
yeah, a combat veteran. Um, so sometimes you have to remember that yourself when people try to call your behavior or the way you are arrogant, full of yourself, or what have you. You have to be in love with yourself enough to know who you are and not be doubtful. And many times you got to come around and tell people because um, sometimes it comes up at promotion times at jobs and what have you. The people sometime above know who you are, but your coworkers don't. And they say, well, you've been here not this amount of time or a short amount of time. How did you get this promotion over me? Or what have you? I was at a job one time. Um, I was the training instructor for this particular job, and one of the guys I trained, uh, he had more college education than I had, younger, less experience, and a position opened up in management. And all the managers pushed me to take this position. But I don't know if you know what a covered shop is. I was working for Teamsters, a covered shop, to where I got overtime. I made more than most managers from the hours I put in. And so, why would I give that up to be a worker with more responsibility and less money and less time?
Right.
And so, this guy who I trained, he was also a good fit in for it. And I pretty much backed up in that, didn't want the position. It upset a few people because they knew I was a good fit. And I didn't know the guy that I trained was going to see me as a challenge. And I didn't want the position, but he kind of knew who I was and he knew I could do the job better. And a jealousy came into where my job became in question a few times because he's my supervisor slash manager. So sometimes people, when they do find out who you are, they are intimidated by it, but you can't let that hold you back from letting people know who you are in life because sometimes people need to hear that. They need to know that. They need to know you have this training, you have this much experience, you've been through this or that in life, so you can relate.
And you
And,
have a team, a
right,
spiritual team behind you.
right,
It's not just you.
exactly. But it's something a lot of times uh, we learn in different books of wisdom to be humble, but also we're seeing these same great books of wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, understanding is that it's not all about humility. It's all about too taking charge in life. We're born leaders. That those of us that are surpassed or at the spiritual realm in the world today. Many of us are not, but a lot of us are. We know we're prepared to step in these positions, to step in a place of comfort, no matter where we walk in and where we step to.
Yes.
You know, we walk in a room, we know what presence we bring.
Yes.
We know we enlighten the room, we enlighten the space. Um,
And that's not a cocky thing, y'all.
yeah,
That is just a confidence thing.
right.
That's a knowing who you are, knowing what you bring to the table, and knowing that the energy that you walk in the room with is the energy that people are
Right.
looking for. And that really is what that's about. Thank you for joining, Sierra.
If I'm not responding to you, you can still tap the screen, show your love, share the live. Those of you that's on the TikTok, we're on a few different streamings right now. Um, Whatever you can do, just engage, and we'll get back to some of your questions in the inbox later if you inbox us. That said, it's um it's sometimes a challenge in life for people to really understand and get that through to people. Okay, yeah, we're co-workers, but still, uh, we're not equal in every way, and
Yes.
that's not a cocky way. That's a way of people seeing you and not being too familiar.
Yes.
Uh, Here I am. I've been on this planet for over a half a century, and sometimes somebody, because they have a 2 or 4 year education, a past high school, think they pretty much don't have to listen to no wisdom coming from me. They can pretty much tell me what to do, because they wasn't taught by their parents, and sometimes I'm I'm older than their parents, and sometimes I have to remind them, you know. But at the same time, we can be humble and do this, but we have to be comfortable and we have to know who we are, be comfortable and who we are,
Yes.
and be able to share that and share your wisdom. Because many times I I find myself engaged in a back and forth conversation when someone tries to talk over me. I bring it down to a tone where they have to bring themselves down to hear and understand me. And sometimes that's necessary in life, but we have to do what we must at that time when people are disregarding our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding
Right.
and inserting their own. That is wrong. If it's right, it's right. That is wrong. Or you can see they need further guidance. as a military leader, you learn to lead forward, to move forward, how to bring people forward, how to set people up for success in life. And everybody don't have that kind of training. My training began not only as a little boy at 6 or 7 years old when I was working with my dad and having uh, many siblings younger than me, only one older than me. Tammy laughed because I came from a family of if there was 11 of us. My sister was the oldest, and I was right under her. So that is part of your leadership, even as a child. And then I, my mother signed me into the military when I was 17. Uh, so through that, I started my training. After my training, going through college and uh, and constant training, especially in the Navy. Any Navy or Air Force vet or even Coast Guard, they know, and that's not to alleviate the Marines and the Army, because we know you Marines that are listening, you know you go in and you make all kind of trouble and you clear a way for us, and then we have to clean up. The Army is right there in front of us or side by side, and then it's us. And we got a few of the SEALs that get in there, but at the same time, well, you understand what I'm saying. In life, you have to have a comfort, especially at, when you get to a certain age in life, you either know or you don't. There's no in between. And a lot of people, I like to say that you don't go through life past past a half a century and not know anything.
CBs were with me and medics.
And I know that's a Marine speaking when he say he worked with the CVs and the medics. So getting off the subject a little bit of
Thank you.
uh, it's an honor for you guys serving. Everybody, thank you for your service. My roommate was a hospital corpsman, what you call a Navy medic. He was a second class, a E5, so that's pretty high ranking in that field. And he was with the Marine Recons, and he has some stories because he was from Boogie Down. Boogie Down is the Bronx for those of you that don't know. But he was a very humble but very assertive individual, and the Marines had a lot of respect and love for him, but a little frustration because he would tell them, I am not a Marine. I am your doc. I will not do that. And he was adamant, and he stood his ground. And I brought that in there because this is how we have to stand our ground in life. You know who you are. You know your value. Like my roommate, he knew his value. So he was staying his ground because you only got, and the Marine can attest to this, you only have that one doc. You have that handful of CBs, those, and 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 you can't afford to chase him away. You can't afford for him to get shipped out on special orders, request special orders, and then yeah. My wife was asking me about an Amazon package. Um, do I need to go out there and let him know? Okay, see if he do his job. Ring my bell. But that said, my wife is singing "Ring My Bell" in the Amazon, and I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. But that said, Tammy can add to that.
Yeah. So a lot of times people will try to discount you, and that was one of the things that we wanted to bring forth. You know, and the thing is you actually always teach people how to treat you. You always teach people how to treat you. And one of the ways is how you treat yourself. So you treat yourself good, then you teach other people how to treat you. And then also you allow people, the devil dogs, he said. And also you allow people, so that is something that, we see a lot, especially with the generations behind us. And it's like, we want to tell them and we want to share so bad that, you be who you are, and then you show up as who you are, and then people will know you. That makes sense?
Yes, but it's so many times in life, especially as a civilian, going in at 17 and staying there a few decades, um, you come out and you kind of a little bit shocked. And just to show you what we're drinking, we got root beer. Is not an alcoholic drink, just in case.
Ginger
TikTok,
beer, ginger beer.
ginger beer. It's wonderful,
Hmm.
but it's not alcohol. But you come out and you realize things are done a lot different. You go in there as a child, but you come out as a man or as an adult. You know, adult to correct that. And you see things ran different in civilian life. I'm a make it happen person. I don't make excuses. Uh, on time is late. Uh, that's not really understood a lot in civilian life. I hear a lot of excuses. I hear a lot of complaining for easy stuff. Sometimes I've worked with people that spend more energy complaining than correcting something or fixing a small situation.
Yeah.
And we wasn't allowed to do that. We even had a chief one day on one of the carriers I was on. It was either the Eisenhower or the Roosevelt, the Theodore Roosevelt or the Dwight D. Eisenhower out of Norfolk, Virginia. And one of our E7s, our chief, one of the guys had nerve enough to tell the chief, and huh?
Yeah.
What? One of the guys, something bothered my wife that I'm doing. She won't just tell me. She whispered.
Yeah.
Uh, this is my thinking hand.
Okay.
Okay. He had nerve enough to tell the chief that something couldn't be done, and as a chief, we can't tell someone to do something that we can't or not willing to do ourselves.
Thank you for the lights.
We have to be able to do one or the other, and and this is a big mistake to tell a chief that
Yes.
you can't do something. And it was cleaning out the salt water residue, which start turning into a rust color inside the toilets on the ship because of the seawater. And so there was some up in the ring of
Yes.
of the bowl, and the chief said, "Oh yeah, you can't do it." The chief found a single edge razor blade, got rolled up his khaki sleeve, and took that razor blade and went around the bowl of the toilet like this, just scraping the rust. And he got it done pretty good. And he handed the single edge razor to the guy and said, "Here, go ahead and use this and finish the rest of the 8 toilets in here. Uh, but you put that on yourself. You should be able to,
Figure out how to do shit.
yeah." But there's a lot of that go on in civilian life, and civilians. Nothing against civilians because I'm one now. I may not look like one, but I'm really one. And sometimes civilians, it's hard for them to understand that, to understand your experience, your skill set, your 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 way of doing things, your way of life. And sometimes they have to be reminded. And this is for anybody. It's not just military. Life experience. Life gives us experiences.
Yes.
No matter who you are, what kind of experience, uh, no matter what you're going through, you can deal back with what life deals you, because it's either gonna build you up or it's gonna break you. But what you want to do is turn around and not let it break you, because when you travel, when you see a lot of things, or when you get to a certain age in life, you realize the thing you going through is not really as rough as it seems. At that age or that moment or that time, it's the roughest thing in the world. But at the same time, when you going through it with experience, you realize like, whoa, I just came from this country, or I just seen this place in life, or I've been here in life, and these people were coming up to me, little kids, and I've been to places like this, 2, 3, well, maybe not 2, but 3, 4 years old, asking for money and asking for food. Uh, uh, but we're not there, you know. We have places in America that's almost that bad. That's why I do get upset sometimes when I hear we don't do more to help this country. Um, but at the same time, in life, sometimes you do have to remind people. You do have to remind people,
And you don't have to do it in a negative way.
exactly.
You just let them know, and it's okay to do that.
Hmm.
It really is self-preserving to do that. That's actually just putting yourself out there in the way that you desire. But because for me, I think about this places, in stores and different things or different go. I'm just not going to tolerate any disrespect. Because I feel like I've been on this earth over 5 decades now too, and I'm not going to tolerate disrespect. I'm not tolerating it on any level from anybody. Period. And so you have to get to a place where you draw the line in the sand, just like that.
Hmm.
You say, okay, no, no, no. You I might have used to be this person, but I've evolved. And what I say to people is maybe you should try it. maybe maybe you should set your intention to evolve. Just because we were all something at some point in time. We all used to be something. We all used to be a baby, but we didn't stay there. You know, none of us came into the planet walking, but yet now we do. So you have to kind of think of it in that way, because people will tell you, oh well, nobody changes, nobody can change, all this kind of stuff, and that's a bunch of BS. That's crap. You can change if you desire.
Yeah.
And what happens also is when you show people how to treat you, then they have to step in line. They have to get in line. It's all on you.
You know,
He said Chiefs run the Navy.
see what?
He said Chiefs run the Navy.
Amen. Um, it's just like nurses run the hospital.
Yep.
Uh, it's I something just came to mind how even in doing so and reminding people, there's always a respect level.
Yes.
I even had to tell one of our sons, when he became of college age, I said, as a young man, I said, no matter how old the man is, I say he have to respect you as a young man now, and you should always expect that, and that all ties into place. You know, once you start gaining knowledge and wisdom, there's a certain level of respect, just like Paul said in the Word that you should get at that level, and it's nothing wrong with bringing it to remembrance. You know, Paul have to say he was he he was a Pharisee of Pharisees. He not only was just in a sect at a time, and not only belonging to uh, um, a powerful organization, but he was at the top of his game at the time. He reminded them that when one of the individuals said, "I went to great length to get my Roman citizenship," and Paul had to say, "I was born a Roman," meaning they just couldn't do whatever they wanted to him because he's a citizen of Rome, and he didn't go through length to get it. He was born at that citizenship point. And many times we're in places in life where we have to remind people, well, I know this, I've done this before, and uh, you don't have to talk down or whatever to me in this position or at this time, because we have that understanding. We're both adults, so let's deal with this on an adult level.
Exactly.
But it's not too often in life. Um, However, it does come.
I think that you don't experience it as much as I do.
I do,
You do.
but Tammy,
It comes in a different way.
yeah, what Tammy don't realize uh, is that she's a woman, so she have to deal with a lot. And you see, you not that she should, but she has a
But
lot.
right.
Uh, um, and we have grandchildren. However, you see how young Tammy looks, so she runs into that a lot. She's been in the medical field over 30 years, and it's a generational thing for Tammy because her mother been in there over 50 now,
Hmm.
and she still goes back and forth in it. And I go through it a different way because for a long time I didn't look my age either.
You still don't.
You know, even in the military, when I first made a certain rank, we had our own eating quarters. We call it back then. And when I walked in the Navy, we had a rank on one side of the sleeve. And when I first got promoted, and I walked in, and almost everybody there turned around and said, "Who's this kid walking up in here? Is he a new they call them mess deckers or something oh anyway, they had the when you get on the ship you have to work it for about 30 days where you work the one of the chow halls. But I go through that like like I'm new in the experience, and I've had a lot of training since I've been a civilian. And one individual asked me at one of the jobs, she said, "Well, how did you come in this job at that level?" And sort of like it wasn't really a question, it was a kind of challenge.
Like an accusation, really.
Yeah, and I had to back it up and say, "Well, this is my training," and I went down a list, and then I had to. He asked me in a text. I was glad of that because it was permanent communication. Uh, and I had to, after I went down the list, I had to add some more to the list because I had left so much out, and I still didn't cover everything. But it's a thing that I go through too. I'm challenged. Only thing you actually tell me if I was there, I'd say this and this, and I said no. I said I give it time because sometimes nothing negative about this. A woman can get away with saying certain things a man can't
Right.
in life,
And that's true.
And is it right or wrong? That's
We're not here to
semantics.
talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
uh,
another live.
but a man, by a man saying it, it'll be received in a more hostile, hostile way.
Baby, but for me, I would be the angry black woman.
Well, and not you. If you was a different black woman, maybe yeah. But Tammy, Tammy have said things in life, and she came home and tell me what she has said. And this is her Savannah, Georgia part coming out, and she would come home and tell me what she said, and she would say, "I don't know if I'm gonna have a job tomorrow." and I would tell her, well, I said it's the truth, and they like you, and they know it's the truth, and for some reason, I think I love all my Southern people more than anybody can imagine, because most of my family's from Mississippi, and they have a way of saying things, and my aunts used to chop. I mean, I can't tell you how many times my aunts chopped me up because they were able to say things that I knew I can get away with. You know, I had that came up to, you know, those of you who heard some of the live, Brooklyn, New York, my aunt visit me from Mississippi, visit me and my mom, my aunt, my grandmother, and back then, I don't know if some of you agree, and this is not a conversation for that, but my mother, my grandmother, my aunt was all walking together, and my mother was the youngest of three. So, my aunt and my grandmother would pull rank on my mother. And so me and my sister Carol was 10, 11-ish. And they told us, one of my aunts said, y'all children, go down yonder.
She didn't say children. She said churn, probably.
Yeah, probably churn. Y'all children, go down yonder. And we never heard that word before, so we both looked at each other and we squint up our nose like, what is she talking about? And my aunts looked at me and looked at both of us and said, I ain't studying you. And she used to keep some snuff right here in the corner of her mouth. So her mouth would be like she had dip or chewing in. And she said, I ain't studying you. Go down yonder, I'm gonna smack you batty. And we didn't know what none of that meant except the smack batty part. Because back then child abuse was almost a norm, uh, uh, not abusive, but
Y'all know they beat the hell out of us.
Well, maybe not, but yeah. But my mother, she stepped in to save us. My mother, bless her heart, she's the sweetest person. My mother said, y'all walk ahead, but she kind of whispered in a loud way, and we kind of knew we better listen like real quick, because back then they didn't play. It was one elder people had respect, if you know what I'm saying.
And children have respect.
Yeah, that's what I kind of meant. That you have respect, you listen, or else, you know. But in life, getting back to what you say, uh, I know that I sometimes silence is the best determinator at the time. It's the best path at the time. And sometimes Tammy, I come home and Tammy say I wouldn't take that, and I understand it from that point of view too. But I say no. I said I stay silent because I needed them to think about what they said too and what they did, because sometimes it's a look that I can give, and they know it's a look that look through them like, did you really say that? Or my silence get them nervous actually, because it's so ignorant or it's so rude and direct. It doesn't commit a response. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then that's the way I feel about a lot. And it might be as I'm aging in wisdom.
It's because my husband is the most patient man that I know.
Amen.
I don't think I know another man with more patience. And I'm grateful because I'm not that way. so so I appreciate that. But he takes time to think about these things, and I must admit that I have not always. I have, as I've gotten a little older, I take a little time. I like to take a step back. That's typically my signature when it's time for me to, make a decision in order whether I should say something or whether I should do something. or whether I should just wait, But my husband, he is so patient, and I am so grateful because it probably, has served him over life being patient like that better, because I would say stuff out of my mouth. I didn't care. I was like, these people probably gonna fire me, but I don't care. It needed to be said. I'm good with it. Either way, whatever way, it works out. You know, but because I'm just not. For one thing, I'm not a person that you just ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. That's the one thing. And that's a way that I pretty much have always been. It's like when you start thinking that you have that liberty that you can tell me what to do, you have already thought wrong. So when that kind of stuff starts happening, and a lot of times people like to do that when they discount you, because maybe just like my husband said, they say, "Oh, well, I have more education." Well, who gives a fuck? I mean, what does that have to do with anything? Do you have experience in life? Do you actually even know anything? And that's something that I mean, a lot of us encounter, and a lot of us deal with it.
Yeah, you talk about education. That bring another thing into thought. I had an individual again. I was talking earlier about college and what have you. This individual was a little bit under half my age, and I think he was in his finishing up his 4 year degree, and we were on assignment together. And he was talking about history. And when you talk about world or American history, I'm pretty good at it, mainly because of the travel. And in addition, is my great grandmother was still alive when I was a little kid. That was born in she lived to 110. She was born in mid 1800s, and my my two grandmothers both born in the 1890s, one born in the 1880s, and that is a lot of history. One passed in the 1980s, which I was well into my career by then. Well, near the beginning of my career, in the mid of my career, and one passed in 2001, I think, somewhere around there. And these people carried a lot of history, and I'm a listener. I ask questions, and I've always been the person that paid attention to that. And my dad, he was born in the mid 1920s. Um, he's gone now too, and I just went on our ancestry and seen some things, some documents from my dad, and the document, I actually didn't know whether it was my dad's document or not, but because I've always been a listener and I paid attention, and you know how your parents and your family, they give stories. My dad was always giving stories, and all of a sudden when I heard, I seen this one address in North Carolina, I knew it was my dad right away because he talked about this address. It's not far from Rocky Mountain. I forgot the name.
Pine Town,
Oh
right?
yeah, Pine, Southern Pines, North Carolina. And I started realizing,
Oh wait,
Southern Pine,
is that the one the movie was based
and I think you talking about something Pine. That's
on?
another
Okay,
movie. But that's a good movie. That was a good movie. It's a little
the
haunted.
Pines.
The Pines, it might be. But that really helped, and I started actually uh, uh, I started actually remembering seeing things that I didn't know my dad been through, but I remember the story. So the story started matching the documents, and because there's
Oh wow.
a lot of names. Yeah, my mother picked cotton also, and She
That's some hard work.
yeah, she complained about what she had to do, from a little kid, because just go. That's one of the people responding here. My grandmother actually went through, because my grandfather died early. That
Hmm.
some of the sharecroppers and stuff around offered to take the kids off her hand, and she got a nickname. I don't know if she got it through there, but I imagine it did, Shotgun Granny, because she wasn't letting anybody take her kids, and she raised all those kids by herself, and you know on a nice large farm that we still own.
But that's what they used to do back in those
Yeah,
days. They would take people kids. They would do it to black people. They would do it to Native Americans. Just swoop in and try to take people's kids so they can work them, and
that's easy. That's revenue.
that's free
Kids
labor.
kids are kids are revenue back then.
Yeah. So but I think that was, to me, that was a story that I loved, because I mean that was like, she was not playing with those people. She was not allowing people to take her kids. And that's a thing. I tell you what I did though one time, y'all. I picked tobacco. I was a little girl. I think I picked it for about 30 minutes because that was some hard work.
Cotton do hurt.
I seen the
I see that.
cotton, and I have mad respect for the ancestors for being able to do that work. And every day I think about that. When I think about my ancestors, I thank the good Lord every day that I'm born in this particular time. As bad as people look at this time and as all the things that we're going through or whatever, I'm still grateful that I was born in this time and not back there where I had to be picking the cotton and all that. Because, I honestly truly believe they would just
She
kill
would
me.
have been in the house.
She'd have been dead. Oh no, no, I'm good. I'm like, no. I did that. I did that for 30 minutes with the tobacco, and I was like, because they took kids out there to go during the summertime and see, make a little money, and you made a little money, but that was like the 70s, y'all. And I thought, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go out there with the rest of them, because my uncles and them was going out there. They were a little bit older, and I went out there to try to pick that tobacco, and y'all, that is not for me. That is not for me. I can't even remember how much I picked, but I know it wasn't much. But they actually did pay me too, y'all, for the 30 minutes of work. And then I spent the rest of the time in the house.
Sierra Davis got some stories like my family. One that she related.
She said thorns, but she didn't win. Thorns, but once you get the centerpiece, it's all right, but hands torn up. I know, that's what I'm talking about. That's hard work.
That's what my mother told.
And you think about it, they didn't have no gloves back then, or if they did, they didn't give it to them. You know. But you about ready to wrap it up?
Yes. Hopefully you got something out of this.
Yeah.
Mainly, especially today, people have to be reminded that just because you're older in the space, or you're older in life, or even you're younger with more experience, don't count you off. Don't let them count you off. Don't let them count your knowledge and wisdom off. Let them know who you are. And walk in it. Walk in who you are. Keep your head up. Don't get frustrated. Just like I said, that the difference between me and Tammy sometimes, just Tammy called it out. I'm slow to speak, and it haven't always been with me. My dad gave me that scripture because when I went in at 17, I felt like I had to open my mouth whenever I seen something unjust. But he said, "Be slow to speak, quick to listen." And when he said this part, he said, "It's the Lord that raise up leaders and bring them low." And I remember those three things in life and I had to remember, no matter who they are, they're
James,
appointed.
yes.
They're appointed for a time, and it's that time is not forever, and that's what helped me retire from the military. Everybody else was counting time like it was forever. Uh, uh, when when I say everybody else, most of my friends around me, but I knew this too shall come to pass. And all these words that was in me, and I'm happy. Not the fact that we had to sit down at the time every seventh day, and we had to sit down and just absorb the word, but the word became in me, and I feel like it saved me uh, for in different points in my life because it would always come back. It really saved me. I'm gonna leave you with this last story. Was when I was 17, a few weeks of going in the military, and my dad had his final lash out at me, and I thought about going toe to toe, but my dad was a working man. Uh, uh, to me, he was an older man, but because he was in his 50s at the time, but he was fit. And I said, well, besides the honor your father and mother, so your days may be long upon the land which the Lord giveth thee. But the at the same time, I said, if I do that, it's not only going to shorten my life, but it might end it right now. And then I thought about tagging and running at the time, but I did what I had to do then, and me and my dad didn't go fisticuff. I lived, and you know, it was a bad situation at the time, and but at the same time, when he lashed out, he became fearful from that day forward of me because he didn't know what to expect because I was able to stand there. And I gotta admit, I was so angry. I couldn't I couldn't show any kind of
Mm.
I I couldn't show any kind of you couldn't see anything on my face. In other words, so it made him think from that day forward that he never came at me in any kind of way physically after that day. But it was a rough life, you know. But we're not going to quote you. That's because that's one reason we use scripture like it's. I'm just responding to my.
Yeah, yeah.
We use scripture like it's part of our life because it is,
Yes.
and we don't always know all the
Exactly where it
quotes of
is.
it, but it's became part of us. It's in us.
It's in us. We've
It is
embodied
us.
that
So
word.
so uh,
Because
in the
I love it. I love when people come with that.
exactly
And they come with it not as often as they used to before, but they come with it sometimes, and I have to just let them know, and that's when I have to show them who I am. You know, I was almost basically a PK.
right.
You know, so we were spoon fed the word from children. I mean, they actually did things like made you get up and recite scriptures and stuff like that, and not just on Easter. They would just pull you out, go do Psalms, 100 or whatever. You just call it out. And so we did that, and so we we embodied the word. So and there are times, most of the time, I can go in the word and find something because I know how to do that too because I went to ministry school. But yeah, once you embody it and you begin to make it a part of you, and you actually begin to truly, truly, you know, keep it in your heart, then you can just speak it out. So we don't gotta worry about quoting you, Sierra. It's all good, and I know that scripture is in James. I know that.
And keep in mind, the word do come to us in different ways and in different books, but it all goes back to the
It's all
same
connected.
one and only.
Yeah.
And it's just like my name. I was given my name David for a reason, and and as I, from a child, I knew in different parts of the world, and from traveling in different parts of the world, I'm sometimes I'm David, and sometimes I'm Dahoud, and I'm sure there's other names out there where my name is called, and I respect all of these different words because a lot of times we get caught up in the way things are said.
Semantics.
Yeah, we don't realize that we're all saying the same thing and we're all talking about the same thing
Yes.
and we're all honoring the same.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do. And we shouldn't let religion divide us, but we should let the one and only bring us together. And the one and only is called, one word I like to use for the one and only is love.
Yes.
Because uh, without love, you can't say that you worship a one and true.
That's absolutely the truth.
And many times we want to throw stuff in there. I have to tell this one story
Go ahead, Ben.
before. We went to one of my favorite places to have ice cream, and
Baby, you gotta tell them what it is.
yeah, they got better. They got much better. It's actually creamy. It don't taste icically now. It's McDonald's, so I can go there and have a cone. Tammy went into the restroom. Believe it or not, the restroom's clean.
Hmm.
Uh, um, and this one lady started screaming at the people at the counter. And I know the people at the counter, I can see they, especially the manager, that he made a little mistake with me. I had to explain, no, you know how you order on the computer now in the place, and then you walk up to the counter. So I ordered,
Yeah.
and when I got up to the counter, the order said I ordered one cone, and I his order said I ordered one cone, and I showed him mine. I said, no, I paid for two. Yours might say one, but I paid. And I said it with a smile because I know how people are going through stuff and they're exhausted.
And they were busy
Yeah, they were busy.
and looked like they were short.
And this lady came in and just started ripping into the
Karen.
manager. Huh?
A Karen.
No, we weren't. I don't like to use
Not
stereotypes.
even a Karen.
I don't like to use that now because a lot of people take that as because anybody can be a knucklehead. I could say a knucklehead, you know, but 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 she was a real knucklehead. And going back to what Tammy said, they could come in all shades and colors. A lot of people like to put it to one group of people, but all groups it could come in any
Everybody
group of
has one.
people. Yeah. And she was one of those people, and she just ripped into him. And he said, "Well, ma'am, you don't have to be rude." And I don't know why he said that because his English
Did
was
that
a
set
little
her
broke.
off?
It kind of she was already set off, but she
Okay.
took it. She took it to
Another level.
yeah a ninth
Oh
decimal.
shit.
Yeah, uh, but uh, but I started the video because I said, man, this thing would be a million views because it really was that intense.
I was hoping you did.
Look at Tammy. She hoping I did. I heard a swirl. Uh, uh, but but I started thinking. I said, if I take out my camera, um, I'm not. Can I say this here? I'm not. I'm
You're not possessing a certain
yeah. I'm not. I don't have my
um
protection on me or
yes.
nothing like that. And I'm like, that dude in the corner might be her man, and he might be like, "Why you videoing my woman?" And I told Tammy all this because she said, "Why did you get it on video?" Because I had the voice, but I didn't have the picture. I said, "Because I didn't know, I didn't see her come in, so I didn't know if those two were together." So it's good to use caution in life. Trust me, because
See, he used caution. If I would
yeah,
have been out there, that's why, God knew. I was in the
yeah,
bathroom because I would have showed
yeah, because I'm sort of like this. I know I can take care of myself in life. I know my capability, but why should I go why should I go there if it's not necessary? And I seen this lady on edge, and I said anything could
Set her off.
could kick her over that cliff where
And
she
she
would.
was already set off.
Yeah, well, she could spin it on anybody there, And I said, nah.
Because I could hear her in the bathroom.
And the bathroom was far away.
Yeah.
She was probably in the bathroom like, who David does? I've done pissed off now.
No, I knew it was to the people at the
Yeah.
thing. And y'all know what? I'm telling you. So I went through a drive-through the other day, same type of stuff. The young man at the register, I pulled up and I always ask people, how you doing? How's your day going? Because a lot of times nobody talks to these people. And so I just do that. And so I came up and first he said, good. And then he said, no, not so good. Somebody was yelling at me. And you could tell he was such a nice, tender young man. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I said, it's not about you. I said, it's about them. I said, so don't let them take you off of your place. I said, because I can tell that, he had a beautiful spirit. I said, I can tell that, you're a nice young man. I said, and you don't want to allow other people, to take you away from being who you are. And so I guess that really kind of, relates to what we're talking about today. Not allowing people to take you out of your space, and I could tell that thing had bothered him because he was like, I didn't even do anything. And I said, it's okay. I said, don't even worry about it. I said, just shift that perspective. I said, because it really does not have anything to do with you. I said, it has everything to do with them. I said, because why would you act like that if you had any sense? And he was like, okay. He was like, I appreciate you. And that was just a little 5-minute, 5-minute rant that we had at that time. But, just from me asking him how he was doing. We have to sometimes we have to step into that role as well. Sometimes, you are the kindness that people see because these people are so hateful to these people that work behind these counters. And working in customer service for all of these years that I've done, I understand that and I know how people can be. And, just don't, especially now, it's like the golden rule is out the window. You're not even considering, how you want to be treated. So that's one of those things that, we have to consider as well in our interactions with other people.
Keep in mind too that we are the peacemakers. If you listen to this program, if you're here at this point, you know who you are, and we're placed in this world for a reason because this is a time where it's hard for people. Many people refuse to be kind to each other. Um, we we're not slow to anger for as a group now of people, and we together that's listening to this program, regardless whether you replay it or what have you, or you get it from something else. Just keep in mind that we're the peacemakers, and sometimes that's done in different ways, even by me not videoing that woman that was acting that way because it could have took it another place, but we're the peacemakers. If I would have put that video on our face, it'd have been a whole nother you know but that little thing, but it's the things we do and say. The guy, the manager that was overwhelmed, and I could tell he was overwhelmed, that told me, he said, well, my receipt says you bought one. And I could have went to that place that woman went, or I could have continued to smile,
He couldn't.
which I did, which I did. I smiled and I said, but this is what I paid because this is what it says. Because I chuckled because I thought it was funny. But we need to not be so serious and realize, like what Tammy said, it's all about that person. Because a lot of times in life, we're walking around so selfish, thinking about ourselves that we're not concerned about the person behind the counter, the person on the other side of the counter.
Because we don't know what they went through.
Right. Did they lose a loved one?
Right.
Do they have to go? Are they rushing back to a hospital for a loved one?
Are they on the verge of being homeless?
Homeless,
right. Or are they homeless?
Right.
Because y'all know what people out there.
We never know.
We don't know.
We never know what people are going through. And sometimes I said something to you, Tammy, one day. You kind of checked me on it, without even knowing. You checked me. I said, man, look at that nice house those people have in that video. They was doing a live or whatever. I said, they doing good. And since she looked at me, she said, that don't always mean that. And then I had to think about my big house that some people would have called a mansion in New Jersey. I was pretty much on the outside. I had all the new vehicles sitting in the driveway, brand new paved driveway, and house on a hill. But I was in almost a paycheck to paycheck situation, and but that goes deep.
Because you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You look at people and because people are going to show you, especially social media.
Right.
They'll show you what they want you to see, but a lot of times it's not always real. And that's one thing we have to look at, because sometimes, or, they're going to show you the house and all that stuff, but they ain't going to tell you how they struggling like hell, and stressing out to try to make those payments. Yeah, house poor. Trying to make those payments and trying to take care of all of the stuff. And, you living in a 3,000 square foot house or whatever like that. Well, you're going to have a light bill. Depending on how many you got and how you train them. You have a big one. So those are things, we you look at people and you judge that and stuff. And then, I've had people that come and say, blah, 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 blah. And you're looking at them going, but you said you making 6 figures or 10K months or whatever the hell.
14 night jumps. I was trying to understand.
Something she said all her family was in the army or something like that. So I don't know what that. Is that for real?
If he was army, he had. If he was army, he had. If he went to jump school, he had night jumps, and that's one of the most dangerous things you can have. I actually did time in army too before I went to the Navy, and we went to Panama for a lot of our jungle training, and Panama have something called elephant weeds. If you jump into the elephant weeds, it can cut you like a razor. Whatever part of your skin that it touches, and
scary.
And not counting the animals and stuff that you got to deal with.
Lions, tigers, and bears.
Yeah, and snakes.
Oh. Yeah.
But that's a whole nother thing. When you have that type of life, you're very humble as you go through life, because you remember back. You do remember. You don't forget those experiences. And like I said, if some of you heard my stories in the past, I was one of the people that actually enjoyed the military, and I scared the drill sergeant because I did enjoy it. Because here I was with my own locker, my own and had a foot lock on them. On top of that, my own bed, 3 squares, nice size meals. We had 3 meals, but the lunch was usually a half a sandwich. It wasn't because we were starving. That's how we ate back then as little kids. But yeah, it was an enjoyable time, even though I had to sleep I wake up in the ice, snow, rain, heat, in the elements. Sometimes frogs jumping in your tents and all that stuff. But yeah, I like to hear more about your dad sometime. He sounds like he saw like me, been through some amazing stuff. um, because you don't forget, and it's something you carry through life. It keeps you strong. It keeps you patient. It and sometimes it keeps you from getting what's owed to you. Also,
She said he not for real.
uh, yeah, and sometimes you just don't go after what's owed to you because you go imperfect and you come out with all kind of aches, bruises, and pains, and you tell yourself no, it's not real until you
Till it
realize it
is.
is, and you sign all the papers and you let go. Those of you that did that, go back and get yours. Now is the time for the VA to give you what's yours.
Especially if you look like us. All right. You gonna land the plane?
Your family got almost all branches of service. Okay, we're gonna land this plane. We're gonna bring it down. Uh, um, everything. We got clear skies and everything, so we can have a smooth landing.
Clear skies, smooth landing.
Okay.
Let me talk about my 4 week,
So you what?
my 4 week spiritual gifts workshop.
Tammy's gonna
Gonna
wind
talk
it up.
about my 4 week spiritual gifts workshop. If you guys are interested in learning about the spiritual gifts, I'm doing 4 weeks of that class. I will drop the link on Facebook and um, YouTube. I'm on Facebook and YouTube. So if you missed, you want to go back and watch, you can go back on my Facebook channel, YouTube channel, Facebook page. So these lives are over there. But anyway, 4 weeks embracing our spiritual gifts. I'm going to talk about clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, claircognizance. It starts September the 4th at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Going to be about an hour, and we'll go through. And at the end of it, as with most of my workshops, we're going to do a short meditation. So come ready, come prepared, come open to receive. But it's 4 weeks. It's going to start the 4th of September and it'll go all the Mondays in September. And so right now it is,
Okay.
it is, I was going to say, if you have Eventbrite, you can go on Eventbrite and find it. It's Embracing Our Spiritual Gifts. Also, is on the event page on Facebook as well. And I also have a meetup, um, Sister Circle Emergent Experience. You can find it on there as well. So if that's something that you're looking for, love it. And then I also have an angel intuitive with affirmations. And so what you'll get is you'll get an angel intuitive reading, and then you'll get recorded affirmations so that you can listen to them on loop when you want to. And there'll be affirmations that are based on your particular reading. So I have that available. If that's something that you're interested in, send me a DM. And just so you know, and you're not surprised, that service is $111 and it'll be sent to your email. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out to a sister. And then also make sure that you are following me on YouTube. Go on my YouTube channel, follow me there. And if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you would like to come on my show, Straight Out of Savannah, I would love to have you. So you can send me a message about that and say, I want to come on or whatever. I said, and we can get together and get you scheduled and all this other kind of stuff. And also Sunday services with the Morrisons. As far as we know, we'll be back on next Sunday. Um, Anything else? Bro?
Just a quick question. Anybody can throw this out there for me. Uh, um, since the Equalizer is not out yet, because we got to go see our Denzel. Uh, um, is there any
Next
good
week,
movie?
right?
Huh?
Next week,
Oh, yeah, it's September, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Uh, um, is there any good movies that's out right now that we can go see? Because we haven't been to the movies in a few months. We got these tickets from Costco that's burning a hole in our pocket, and we just want to do something this evening, probably this evening. So if there's any good one, drop us a link. You can even drop it in the inbox, we'll consider it and let you know how it was if we go see it. So if
Yeah.
there's any
Maybe
good
we'll do a
movies
review
out,
on it.
yeah,
That's a good idea.
if there's any good movies out, let us know.
She said, "Oh, she said the Chosen Adult. Where's it up? Where's the Chosen Adult, Sierra? Because I heard of it. It's on
How you gonna
Amazon.
how you gonna answer?
Huh?
Oh, she talking about not in the theater.
Yeah, she said, but not a movie.
Oh,
So it's probably that's
that
why I was
might be.
asking
That
her.
might be. We love
6 episodes.
six episodes
Where's it
because
at? Amazon, Netflix. Okay,
yeah,
okay, we'll check it out.
that sounds kind of good.
Because I like, I'm gonna tell y'all, I like the series, but I really like the short ones, the ones with 4 or 6,
Hey,
or even 8 or less.
tell them real quick the one we watching with the time travel. We don't want to give this away, but it's
Discovery Witches.
yeah, discovering which is it's something. It's got some serious time travel in there. I won't give it away, but
Yes, the Discovery of Witches, y'all, is AMC,
yeah,
and that thing is good. I mean, yes, that one is so good. Who was the other one?
it's a few.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
the one that we looking for somebody for it to come back on another part. The one with the
The Wheel of Time.
no, the one where they got lost in the town and
Oh,
couldn't get it from.
Yeah, from that is that
We seen it
y'all.
through Amazon, but it might be through
That is so
yeah,
good. It's on MGM. I think it's on.
MGM. Okay,
Yeah, but
from
from.
is it's if you like deep stuff, you if you don't have a religious spirit, when I say that, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about a good spirit. I'm talking about the. But this is not scary. None of these.
Mm-mm.
You're scaring me. None of these
No,
are
they
scary, but
good.
it's deep. It's deep in a spiritual and a mind bending way.
Ooh, what about the other one? Dark Winds.
Dark
Y'all
Winds.
seen Dark Winds? Dark Winds, y'all.
It's AMC's
Yeah.
Dark Winds.
Oh my God, that thing
Oh,
is so good. You can
uh,
tell we love like movies, right?
yeah, I had to get Tammy into this. Now she's telling me because Tammy was going from what you call it,
What is genre?
or one genre or one event to another, and she would Tammy's
Oh, one
mind.
show.
No, your mind wouldn't rest because you was always working,
Yeah, that's
and,
true.
and I had to get Tammy to get away to. She was working, reading, or
Studying,
something. She was into
writing.
the YouTube school and all of this other stuff and
Maybe YouTube University.
university, college. But all right, people. I got a few sites you could follow me on. I put out some good
October.
material, some good material on the Book of Faces. It's my name, the same one that's on here, David Morrison. Um,
Oh, and Avon too.
oh yeah,
We got an Avon store. I definitely dropped the link in the comments. So if you like Avon, you can go in that store and get it. It'll come straight directly to your house, which
and
is amazing because we love what's that stuff, baby? Skin so soft.
yeah,
We need to start doing some reviews
yeah.
on that.
It keeps the bugs, the flies, everything away.
Yes.
Um,
October 30th is your birthday. Your birthday right before mine. My birthday November 1st. Scorpio.
I got
What's
a
your zodiac
yeah,
sign?
but yeah, it's a native group over there on the Book of Faces. But we got a lot of things going. We are gonna be dropping some of our travel links in the future.
Yeah.
We haven't smoothed everything out there yet, but yeah. All right, my people.
So if you're interested in adult travel, we your
Grow,
huckleberries.
grown up.
Grown up travel. We your huckleberries. It's not
Yeah,
it's not for the babies.
yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you continue to follow us and make sure you like and share when you see our content, to help us move forward, in this content life. So we appreciate y'all. If you have any comments, any questions, if you have anything that you want us to talk about or, share
October
about or
30th.
anything like that, it's right before your daughter's birthday.
That's right before your birthday.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I told her right before me.
Oh, you told her?
Right before my stepdaughter's birthday too.
That's easy.
So we got you, girl. We got you. Sierra's I think about a little bit older than Sydney.
It's it's kind of a festive time for us because we celebrate a whole 30 days of September, and then we celebrate the whole 30 days of November.
That's right. And David's birthday is coming up. We take gifts. We take cash app. We take all kinds of stuff. However you want to bless him.
What she say?
His birthday is September the 5th, so it's coming up.
It's from September 1st to the end.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it 30 days? Or
yeah.
30? Oh, okay.
Yeah. 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
all right. So
I'm glad Tammy reminded you. And don't forget, happy birthday to all you folks out there that have your birthday celebrations.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Bye.
Yeah. Tammy, you didn't start talking before you ended. I did.